Hi folks, this is Vicki at Pattern Princess. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet in the round, and I'm going to do this with single crochet stitches today. And I am using a chunky yarn to do this. I'm hoping that you can see the stitches a little bit better. I do have a blog post explaining how to do this with photos, and I also will have photos on showing how to do it with double crochet. And I do have a separate post as well, and a tutorial on how to do the magic circle, but we're going to start off with the magic circle. So I have the yarn tail I put it over my fingers like this. I put my hook through and I grab this yarn, but then I hold it. And if you watch my fingers, I keep holding that little spot. Now I'm going to switch fingers and bring it back there, and then I'm going to, yarn over and bring it through my loop. And I'm going to pull tight because that creates a knot. But this part here, the circular part here, is actually a slip stitch. So I can make things bigger or smaller. And when you're working in the round, it's really nice to be able to close up that center loop with that, okay? So when we work in the round and we're doing single crochet stitches, we're going to chain one. That doesn't count as anything. That kind of just acts as like a turning stitch or a filler stitch, so you can start working on the rest of your stitches that are going to be in the circle here. And then if you were doing like a double crochet, I like to add two chain stitches here, and then they don't count as anything there either, but they help give you some height before you start crocheting your stitches. So normally when there's if you're doing single crochet, there's like a 6, 8, and 10 rule. And the single crochet, you normally want to use a 6, and then for half double crochet, 8 in the center here, and then for the double crochet, you normally want to use 10 stitches in the middle. However, I have broken those rules often based on how big I want the final round to be and how fast I want to get to that bigger size, and really what crochet yarn I'm using, what thread I'm using. So even though there's some rules that help you be successful, don't be afraid to break them once in a while, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyways, we're going to do some single crochet stitches in this circle. So we're going to put our hook through, yarn over, bring it through, yarn over, and go through both loops. That's our first single crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have, let's count our stitches. I'm going to lay this down and count them for you. So let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now it doesn't look much like a circle now, right? But we're going to take this little tail and we're going to pull, because we made that initial slip stitch. There we go, we're going to pull. Now here's that initial, right here is an initial chain stitch. We're not going to go into here, okay? Let me lay this down so you can see it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are my 6 stitches. And we have a loop on here, and we have our initial chain stitch here. We're not going into here. We're going to do a slip stitch into this first single crochet and through both loops, okay? So I'm going to put my hook back in, get this snugged up again. So I'm not going to go in here. I'm going to go in here. It's a little bit harder with a bigger hook. Let me see if I got it. Yep, I got it through. Yarn over, bring your yarn through, and bring it through again. Okay, so that closes off your first round. This is your first round, okay, and you have your 6 stitches. So in each subsequent round, so for rounds 2, 3, 4, as many rounds as you want to do, you're going to increase each round now by 6 stitches. That's going to help you lay nice and flat, and it's going to increase so that it continues to be a circle. Okay, so we're going to do our chain 1 again, which does not count as anything, right? That does not count. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 single crochet in each stitch, because as you go subsequent rows, you're going to add a stitch in between each of your increasing section. And because this is your your first round where you're going to do your increasing, there are no stitches in between. So we do a 2 single crochet in each stitch. And if you were doing, oops, I can't get it in. Hang on, there we go. And if you were doing 2 half double crochet in each, that's what you'd be doing, or 2 treble crochet, that's, you know, half or double crochet, no matter what stitch you're using. In this round, that's always the second round, you do 2 stitches in every stitch. And if you started with 6, you should have 12 stitches in this row. If you started with 10, you should have 20 stitches in this row. And I was talking to you, and I don't know if I did too. Yes. Sorry about that. So hopefully that makes sense. And I do have a stitch count to help you know how many stitches as you continue on your rows that you have to add with each row. And to be honest, I don't remember if I've done the correct number of stitches as I worked away around. I don't know if I got 2 in each one of them, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go, 12 stitches. Now, again, we started off here with that slip stitch, or I should say that chain 1. We're going to slip stitch right into here. This is our first single crochet. So we're going to slip stitch into there to close this off. So it might be a little bit harder, like I said, because I'm using a chunky yarn, but I'm going to work it through. There we go. I was able to get it. Yarn over, bring it through, and that's the end of round 2. And we have 12. Now, I'm going to do this again for the third round, and now I'm going to add 1 stitch between each increasing stitch. So the very first one we're going to do is we're going to do a chain, or chain stitch. It doesn't count. Okay, and then we're going to work a one single crochet in the first one. Then in the next one, we're going to work 2 single crochet. And this is how we're going to proceed around. And then 1, and then 2. And I kind of have to jam, as you can tell, because I'm using quite a thick yarn to do this with. But if you're going to make a basket, this is how you do it. This is the yarn that I have used to make baskets with, kind of a nice, really pretty soft basket with both a number of different colors. And I changed color using this. It was very nice. And I did one too many. So we have 1, and then we have 2, and 1, and 2, and this is my 1. So now we go 2, single crochet, because we're increasing every other one. And when we would do the next row, we'd end up doing 2 stitches in between every increase stitch. There we go, there's an increase 1, and our 1, and then our increase 1, and then 1, and our increase 1. Whoop, doesn't want to go, there we go. Okay, look at how nice and flat that's laying. Now, if I had double crochet, I'd be out here a little bit, so my size would be bigger. So, let's count. So let's take a look at what we have. So right here is my sneaky little chain 1 stitch, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that increases by 6. So now again, just like I did the previous row, I'm going to have to put my hook in here. There we go. I'm going to snug that up, bring my yarn through, and do a slip stitch. And I can continue on like this. My next row, I would do chain 1, and then a single crochet, and then the next one is double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, and I'd work like that. And then the next row would be 3 single crochet in between your 2 single crochet in the stitch. And then that will help you keep it nice and round as you work around, and it lays flat. And yes, you do have a seam here. You can see the seam if you really look closely. But you'd have to look closely, and the seam does continue to line up in the same spot. So if you're working on a garment or something where you're working it around, that seam will continue to line up all the way through. So I hope that you take a chance to work in the round yourself. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Then you'll stay updated on all kinds of posts that we do. And enjoy crocheting. Take care.